Awesome. As those slides come up, Brad, if he taught you the how, I'll probably teach you the why. I have a couple of companies, and we thought when we would put this together, a detailed analysis of at least one of the companies that we've grown, and talk to you a little bit about Stratus Financial, is my lending company. We just hit #1 fastest growing company in Orange County, 4,000% growth and some change in the last 2 years. So it's been quite a journey, and as anybody who's scaled a company, the headache that comes as a result. So we have 65 employees, 10 onshore, 55 offshore, all in the Philippines. And we're going to dig into that a little bit, but just give you kind of the makeup of our company and as why. So my very short version, I have a much longer version, but during COVID, as you guys may remember, everything shut down. And I still remember this to this day. It was 2 months in, this is before this magical PPP money came in as a result. You guys remember all that? And we're all figuring out what to do with our businesses. Some grew, mine was not. And I looked into this and I was like, okay, well, I just lost $200,000 in April and $200,000 in June. Not very comfortable. And this is when my marketing director comes to my office, virtual office, of course, because we had to have Zoom. I need a raise. Yeah, we all do, I think. I need a raise too at this point. It's like, and I looked her in the eye and I was like, I got to be honest with you. I'm hoping to keep everybody employed at this point, much less having a raise. And I took that opportunity and went to my partners in the law firm and I said, let me ask you guys a question. What's the difference between having someone 5 miles down the street that we can't interact and touch and someone 6,000 miles away who we can't interact and touch? And so we hired our first person in the Philippines in April of 2020. And from that part, our law firm has about 40 people. And again, but Stratus, we have about 55 people. With Stratus, I took a different tact. What if we didn't hire any US people? What if we just hired people offshore? Well, as you guys see, I have 10 onshore. So that doesn't necessarily work. But if you ask that question, chances are you can offshore, well, pretty much anything. I love this question because I used to ask it all the time after I found this magical system in the Philippines, which is if your only value to the company can be outsourced, then what's your value? And that's always been the question I ask all my people. If I can outsource you, why do I have you? So this is pretty accurate, not revenue, but I will say the labor cost. And so our #1 competitor, who is much bigger than us and well-funded, both VC as well as lending goes, all of their people are onshore. And as you guys saw, 55 of my people are offshore. My labor cost is 1/4 of theirs, which in any service-based business, I know you guys have maybe products and stuff like that, any service-based business, what's your #1 cost? Labor, right? And if you see, even if you double our revenue, we still make more profit just because we decided offshore. So when Brad teaches you the how, I can tell you this is absolutely the why. If you don't embrace this, this is going to be a problem. And how do we do it? Well, here's some of our staff. And I love the onshore comparisons. Underwriters. You ever placed an underwriter before, Brad? No? We've trained 6 of them over in the Philippines. $100,000 in the US. Anyone in the lending business here? How much are your underwriters? I love it. Well, that's good. You can offshore that if you at least put it together an underwriting manual, which is what we did. Loan officers, same thing. Ours are different because our leads come in. It's not like a hard sell. Marketing, software developers. Who doesn't need software developers? For us, our software is tied to Salesforce, and I have 2 of them overseas. One of them literally just turned down a job for Emirates to work for us, and we paid him, if I remember, $36,000 a year. You do have the same job here, 5 times the amount. And taxes, something I don't think any of us talk about or think about. How about your employee cost? You have onshore. At least California, we have this wonderful EDD. We have payroll taxes. We have 401k. We have healthcare. We have everything. In the Philippines, there are no taxes, right? Something to consider. As what I will definitely leave you guys with, how can you compete if my labor cost is 30% of yours? And when I say mine, I'm talking about yours as well. What about your competition? If your competition embraces what we're advocating, how can you compete with them? Another wonderful slide just showing the growth here, but it's funny because I picture this, if you look at the right column, see how many people we have. We only have 4 in Orange County, and I said 10 onshore, but we do have 65 people. And then I look at Mazzo Capital here, 23 people in Orange County. Bigger size, more people, of course, that's probably an onshore company. And you start wondering, it's like, well, what if their competitor embraces this? Their costs. And it's amazing to see, how can you compete if I can scale faster than you for cheaper than you? And I think that's really, to me, the trick, because we scale, I don't know how, we've hired departments, and I'm like, okay, your manager today, all 4 of you are going to be workers, and we're going to figure out how to build this entire department together. But at the time of scale, if I can scale and I can hire bodies, because that's what we're talking about, right? Can you imagine just giving 5 people onshore $500,000? Yeah, here, your manager, you people are working. That's a very expensive scale. Versus us, I'm doing it at a fraction of the cost, and literally, if it becomes an issue, I'm going to hire another person, right? It's funny, because in the talk of automation, which is very important, in the beginning, I'm like, I'll just get another body or 2 or 3 and keep on going. And this is what I love, because this is what you can do. We're a deal exchange, right? We're all trying to raise money. Well, what if you didn't have to give up so much of your cap table because you embraced the solution? At Stratus, we don't have VC funding. In fact, we've been offered many times, and I keep on saying, I don't need operating capital. What I need is funding capital for our loans. I don't need operating capital. What about creating redundancy where you struggle? This was a #1 problem of mine. I always wanted redundancy. I couldn't afford it. One person's out. Well, when they come back, they're going to take care of you. Philippines offers you a redundant solution for little to nothing. Brad was saying $8 to $10 an hour. If you guys think about that, that's any position. And when we talk about it, it's not, and maybe I didn't actually put in the slides, we're not just talking about an assistant. And I think that's what most people think about in the Philippines. I have entire departments, servicing, loan underwriting, our accounting department, all in the Philippines. What department can you outsource? And then develop custom software to connect your softwares in order to develop your own, cheaper than hiring onshore receptionists. Our Salesforce developer, you guys know how expensive that thing is, $36,000 a year. What's minimum wage now? $15 an hour? At least it is in California, maybe 10 somewhere else. And then add taxes on it. It's crazy. Well, this is me. Feel free to connect with me, Stratus, connect on LinkedIn, or I just wrote a book on how to embrace global talent to beat the competition. And I used my assistants to write that book. Much easier that way. I didn't have time. Appreciate it, guys.